Hello everyone and welcome back to Causes Gaming. Today we are going to take a look at KAMIKO. This pixel art action adventure game promises to give you fun combat with story stylized around Japanese Shinto beliefs. Whether it can deliver on this promise is the question we will try to answer today. KAMIKO is available on Steam for €3.99 with a regional equivalent. Well, KAMIKO. Another Zelda-esque game that aims to have you as the main hero. This is something that is so common these days among indie games. Thus, we have to ask ourselves something very simple. Is KAMIKO worth your money and worth your time? In terms of gameplay, KAMIKO takes on a very indie approach to doing things. Simplicity is the main driving force. You get to move, attack, and run fast. Plus, if you have energy, you get to do a special attack based on which character you're currently playing. I should also mention there are 3 different characters you can play. The blue warrior that uses her stereotypical sword to kill foes, the green one that uses a bow, and the red one that uses a combination of a one-handed sword and of a shield. All of them are quite usable and will do well, but I will say that I feel the green character is a bit stronger than the others. Not only does it have ranged attacks, but for some reason they are also stronger. This just goes contrary to all the typical action-adventure game mechanics we have come to know over the years. Now, if you have weapons, you need something to smash with them. And in the case of KAMIKO, and a large number of other games as well, you get enemies to smash. There is a decent variety of enemies in KAMIKO in terms of their visual design, but much less when it comes to their mechanical design. Most of them just really wobble around the map trying to touch you. They do have a few different patterns of moving, and some do fire up projectiles, but that really is it. Honestly, the lack of enemy variety was probably my biggest disappointment when it came to playing KAMIKO. The only saving grace of the enemies were the bosses. Though, I'm not saying they were the most amazing bosses I have ever seen in gaming. They just were much more creative compared to the standard enemies and were actually fun to battle with. Apart from killing enemies and battling with bosses, you get to do a bit of a carrier's job. You know, collecting stuff in one place and bringing it to another place so you can open doors and progress further down the line. I really don't have much to say about this part of KAMIKO as it was just box standard. The last thing I should mention in terms of the gameplay is how long you can expect it to last. And truthfully, a lot of you guys will be disappointed here. It took me about 2 hours to beat the game fully, with the run which I finished taking only slightly above 1 hour. You can play the game again for sure, but apart from trying the different characters, it doesn't really have much to offer in terms of replayability. And to be honest, that is all there is to KAMIKO when it comes to its gameplay. I know it's very little, but that shouldn't surprise you. It really is your typical indie game. Very simple, but also very cheap. So, what does KAMIKO has to offer apart from its gameplay? For example, its story. A story that is based on Japanese folklore. You are the KAMIKO, a warrior selected by the gods to fight against the demons who have sealed the gates between the world of the living and the world of the gods and the dead. If the gates will not be unsealed, the demons will become rulers of the world of the living, and humanity will be guided towards evil and destruction. Next up, we have to talk about the graphics of KAMIKO. And as you have seen from watching the video, KAMIKO uses a pretty traditional pixel art style something that we have actually seen a lot of times in the past. And yes, we've seen better, more detailed, and I dare to say prettier pixel art in the past, but KAMIKO still looks at the very least good. Again, nothing you'll call back home about, but definitely not something that will make you puke. Now, we have to also mention the music, which to be honest, I loved. While both the gameplay and graphics were mostly unremarkable, the music was great. There were points in the game where I just stood there and listened to it for a moment. And lastly, the performance. Does KAMIKO actually work properly? So let us start with the good stuff. It does run smoothly, but that would be a giant issue if the game as simplistic as this wouldn't run smoothly. Now, on to the bad stuff. The game doesn't offer an option that I consider to be very important, and I'm sure many will agree with me here. There is no key rebinding. The closest thing you get to keybinds is the ability to allow your dash to use a few other keys apart from the C key. That is just not enough. Allow us to rebind. So, in conclusion, KAMIKO is a cute little action-adventure game that doesn't cost a lot of money. On the other hand, it doesn't provide anything really special. The gameplay is decently fun, but something we've seen a million times in the past. The graphics are bog standard. The only thing that somewhat stands out is the music, but I doubt that many people would be willing to spend their hard-earned cash to listen to just a few songs in the game. But we do have to end on a conclusion. Do I recommend KAMIKO? I do. It costs very little and offers decent fun for the price. Just beware, if you want a long expansive game, look somewhere else. So, that's it for today, guys. Hope you liked the review, and if you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And comment if you have anything you would like to add. See you guys later with more gaming content.